to episode 16 of the Tiny Disc Podcast, a show about games and life. I'm Robert Scarpanito, and I'm joined here by Jack Cepeda.
Crivens, it's the Tiny Disc Podcast. Bong bong to all.
Okay, then. Coming to us live from London. And also Colin Sparling.
How you doing, everybody?
Doing very well. Thank you for asking, Colin.
I am not in London. I'm on top of a sinkhole right now. I think that's slowly forming. My home vibrates. So I called it. If anything happens to me, and my apartment is all of a sudden just gone, ceases to be, it was a sinkhole, everybody. But about every month, 2 months, my apartment just vibrates, and it's bizarre.
Was someone just sending your house a text?
No, it wasn't my phone vibrating.
No, your house.
No. I don't know what it was. I'm very freaked out. I'm a little worried for my mortal safety, but we will persevere and prevail.
Yep.
Yeah, we will prevail.
He's a strong man we have here on this podcast. So, Colin, you have a little story you want to tell us from your video games meeting on Monday, right?
Yeah. So I think I talked about I mentioned my video game club here before, but here at Ohio State, I run video game discussion club where me and a group of people, we get together in a classroom. I throw up a presentation and I come up with some topics we want to talk about. We talk about video game news, and I get to show the podcast all of them, of course, right? Mm-hmm. So
Hi,
anyway,
guys.
the top, yeah. Hey guys, the Tiny Disc Podcast, huh? Anyway. So this week we decided to talk about licensed games, right? And so licensed games as in movie games, comic book games, anime games, all that stuff. What makes them good, what makes them bad, and people just talked about some good, what their favorites were, what some of the worst ones they played were. And so at the end of all of it, after hearing all the good suggestions, like Toy Story 2 on the PlayStation 1 and the Riddick games, and you guys ever play? I don't know if you guys know the Reddit games or not.
Yeah, it's actually pretty good on original Xbox. It was a standout FPS for sure.
Yeah, those are some. They have no business being as good as they were, but they were some good games. So anyway, we were just talking about all that stuff, and then at the end, I thought it'd be a fun idea to be like, okay, guys, so take any license you want, like any sort of pop culture license, preferably something decently well known, and then we'll see. Basically, we'll see what would happen if we wanted to make it into a game. Like, who would we want to develop the game? What kind of gameplay we'd want it to have, and things like that. So, after many, many ramblings and yellings, and I was like, guys, I'm trying to, I can't hear anybody. Everyone's just kind of throwing ideas at me. I heard everything, some very off the wall stuff. I was like, I have no idea what that is. And someone said, fucking. The one that caught my ear was Diners, Drive-Ins, and Dives.
Never.
Video game. Oh, no.
Never.
Guy Fieri approved.
Was that sounds like some shovelware game that came out on the Wii already.
Yeah.
Because there was a million of those. I mean, how many deal and no deal games do they need to make?
No.
You just have to pull the Wii remote up to your mouth and just shove your face with straight lard.
What if it was a visual novel and you had to make decisions based on whether you like the food or not based on the descriptions, and
someone actually suggested that, and
oh no.
Nice, right on the nail. And then based on your decisions you fall in love with Guy Fieri.
No, your food is actually boys and you're girl Fieri, and you're dating your food at different restaurants. I'm
gonna push the ejector button on this conversation. I cannot go down this path with you two. I cannot follow you down this road.
Fieri this.
No.
Drive-in and dives. No. So of course, the obvious one was someone said GTA clone, and we're like, so who would we want to develop it? And they're like, oh, well, I mean, Rockstar, obviously. I was like, well, that's an obvious one. And then they suggested Ubisoft. And I was like, that would make a lot more sense, because I wouldn't put it past Ubisoft to develop a game like that.
Well, isn't that just called Watch Dogs 2?
Burn.
I mean, I guess.
This is kind of the equivalent of, man, what if this video game was made into a movie? Who would be the perfect Commander Shepard? Like equivalent, right?
I guess.
Okay.
I don't. But anyway, so like, you know, that was the obvious one. But then someone's like, no, we should do Sega. Sega should make this game.
Oh no.
The 90s Sega or the modern Sega?
I they didn't specify.
Okay.
They just, so it was just many ramblings. I was like, oh, it should be like Yakuza, or oh, it could be like a Sonic the Hedgehog Guy Fieri crossover. It could be like Sonic 06.
You got quite the group there, Colin.
Sonic races around the world to find the world's best chili dog.
I see this entire time I'm just thinking of Guy Fieri on the fucking whatever that is, like the snowboard or whatever in Sonic Adventure 2 going down the hill.
Oh yeah.
Follow me.
Dude, you got mad respect for that man. You pronounce his last name like not Fieri like everyone else says it. But you actually said it the actual way.
Yeah, Guy Fieri. Dude,
wait. There's an actual way to say it?
Yeah, he gets mad
Guy
too if
Fieri.
you don't say it right.
Wait, no way.
Go ahead, demonstrate for us the right and wrong way, Colin.
So everyone says Guy Fieri, but it's Guy Fieri.
That's not real.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, just like guys, it's just like Ibiza, but with more frosted tips.
Now, let me tell you a little something about our Lord and Savior Guy Fieri. So I used to come home from school. I think when I was in like 5th or 6th grade, just come home from school every day, like sit down. It would be like 3 o'clock on the dot. I'd sit down, grab my after school snack, and watch Guy's Big Bite on the Food Channel.
That was a show.
Yes, Guy's Big Bite. It was this like cooking channel, dude. He was like, I don't know, like he's like a dude who's like the missing member of the Offspring, or
Smash
like
Mouth.
Yeah, or or like some
Sugar
Sammy
Ray.
Hagar wannabe. Like,
yeah. He got famous for being on like a show, right? Like
it
who's
was the next Food
personality?
Network star or some it was something like that.
Yeah.
And I don't know, like, dude, his kitchen was just like, it was all like, oh, it all looks like it's made of car parts, and he has a fridge that looks like a fucking race car. Like, I'm like, dude, this is so much edge.
The only thing worse than being that guy is being the guy that lost to that guy on that show. You know what I mean? Like, you really couldn't get that done? You really couldn't seal that deal? All right.
Does anyone know who like the runner-up for that season of that show was?
Second place is the first loser, baby.
Dude, watch it actually be like Bobby Flay.
That'd be funny.
Oh my god.
No.
I could not watch American reality TV anymore. It's so weird. I don't get it at all.
Could you watch Tokyo-based reality TV?
I could, and I was actually about to bring up a Japanese reality TV show that I have fallen in love with, and it's so much better than any of that trash garbage that's on American TV right now.
Mm-hmm.
It's called
Yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
It's called Terrace House. TERRACE, like a terrace.
Not like Tara, a girl's house.
No, it's Terrace House.
Yes.
It's
like Lakeside
incredible.
Terrace.
Yeah. If I remember right, you two have been watching a little bit of it recently, right?
Yeah, I have to say, man, it's taken my heart. Like, I'm a pretty giddy fan now. Like,
Yeah.
I'll say, I'm like, no lie, I'll sit there and like watch the show, and like somebody will be on a date or whatever, be like, ugh! Like I'll tense up and I'll be like hitting my legs and be like, no, that did not just happen. That did not like, you know.
Yeah.
And dude, I get into it, man. I get into it. Like it needs to be a drinking game or something. I don't know.
There is a drinking game actually.
What?
I have played it before. It got me pretty fucked.
Correct.
Like the drinking game is basically just every time they say welcome back, or every time someone says kawaii, it's cute. Or
kawaii.
Every time they say kampai, cheers, drink.
Oh my god.
It gets you pretty well marinated for the night.
Let's kind of set the stage for what this show is.
Yeah. So what
yes.
Terrace House is, it's you take a really, really nice house, like it's incredible how beautiful the house is, and you put 3 guys and 3 girls in there, and just, you know, they live there. Let them be. There's no bullshit like every week there's a competition to see who gets voted off the island, or like who's gonna get the rose this week. You know, it's just 6 people living together week to week, and they just kind of film their lives.
In Tokyo, they give them an automobile too. 1 automobile to share between the 6 of them, which I think is weird to.
It's 2 actually, 2 cars.
Okay, still though, like that's still, you know, ratio
Wait, don't
wise
they
different
say
than it would be in
one-
America.
Don't they say 1 automobile like every time in the intro?
I'm pretty sure it's 2 cars. But I mean,
I thought so too, but
well, you have to keep in mind too, this is Tokyo, not Columbus, so there's actually a public transportation system that works and is effective. So
it is, punctual.
yeah, so cars aren't really necessary as they are here in America. I think my favorite thing about the show is just how calming it is to watch. Like the drama, it's very subtle drama, so you don't really have to pay too much attention to it. And then they kind of intercut the lives of these 6 people with like the hosts who like comment on whatever it is that these 6 people have done.
Oh my god, I love them so much.
Boy, howdy, are they freaking hilarious.
Dude, I just love how they roast the shit out of
everyone. Like there's a guy who's like a tap dancer and they just call him Tap. And they keep making fun of him.
They give everybody nicknames based on their profession or just their hobbies or whatever. It's really funny. But I don't know. You guys really, Robert, you started talking about this a couple weeks back, and I was like, what is this thing that I have no interest in? And then I put it on just on a whim, and it got me pretty quickly because it's basically the Real World, that old show on MTV, but just in Tokyo with Japanese people. And I don't know, Robert, I have a question for you. What evil have you wrought into my life? Because now I'm addicted to the show, and before I knew it, I was on like the end of episode 4 or 5 in like all in one sitting, and it is very addicting. Like I said, it's very I'm shocked and I'm taken aback at how friggin' polite everybody is, at least in the beginning.
Yeah.
Wait. Okay, it's super polite. It's way different than any kind of Jersey Shore or Real World Las Vegas would ever be.
Dude, so you've gotten up through episode 5.
Somewhere around those parts, yeah. But I was up for a while, for a couple hours watching it last night.
Okay, so who's your favorite character so far?
My favorite character? I mean, I think the most interesting character at this point is Tap. Because the last episode I watched, this is the version of Japanese drama that like this show is branded upon. So it's his birthday party, and they're sitting around the table all eating a meal together, and he starts going around the table, and he's like, so what's everyone's like life goals and ambitions? What's your dreams? What do you want? And this one girl starts talking about her feelings, and I'm sitting next to my wife, by the way, on the couch while we're watching this. And the one girl starts talking about her feelings and her dreams and her goals and her life ambitions. And Tap, on his birthday, by the way, which makes it just extra weird because you can't really like dog a dude on his birthday. But he was like, it's not very focused. I'm not following you. I don't know. It doesn't really sound like a great plan.
Yep.
and she just starts bawling. And then so the girl sitting next to him on his left, then the girl that's sitting next to him on his right starts crying as well. So he's surrounded by 2 girls crying now.
And he's just like looking around. He's like,
and he's just
what's going on?
Yeah, and I don't know. He acted ignorant to the fact, but it was a weird thing. I think it was a weird cultural kind of difference because I didn't really understand why you would ever say anything like that. But then later in the episode, it's revealed that he's saying that to try and make them stronger. Right. Try to be more like him, which I was like, whoa, dick move, Tap. Thing. Yeah. On your birthday, you dick.
Yeah. That's not even like the pinnacle of drama that happens to like.
No.
I'm sure that would be weird if it was. Yeah, I'm sure it gets places. Don't spoil me.
No spoilers, of course, but I have to say this show is like really refreshing. Like even if you're a fan of like other reality TV shows, like The Bachelor, Bachelorette, I really can't name other ones because I kind of don't follow it. But if you're a fan of reality TV, like give Terrace House a shot just because it's a breath of fresh air. It's something new. It's something you probably haven't seen anything like before, even though it's like kind of similar to like Real World on MTV back in the day. Like
the premise.
I think that a lot of what Terrace House does and a lot of the messages that come out of it are so like they're from a whole different world. You know what I mean? They're from the entire side of the planet. So it's a whole different way of thinking.
Yeah, to me, it's kind of just a good examination of Japanese culture, and I'm interested in that culture. It's just very different than my own. And so it's just kind of like a social experiment mixed in with Japanese life. And it's really, really good. I'm so shocked that I'm liking it. But I heard there's like 46 episodes of this season. Yeah. And we'll see how long it takes me to get there. But I did do 5 or 6 in a night.
Yeah, I mean, the next season they do in Hawaii, and that's still ongoing. So we'll see what happens with that.
Yeah, just piggybacking off of Jack, like, yeah, it's just, I think that's probably a big reason why it's so interesting, right? Is just watching something like this unfold in a country that is so, I mean, for the lack of a better word, foreign, right? It's something happening in a country that I don't really know a terribly huge amount. But what's great about it is, as they intro every show, they say like, oh, of course there's no script, so all of it's like, and all of it feels genuine, right? It's all feels really real.
Yeah.
And you can tell it's just real people just trying to get the hell on with their lives and just do their thing. Right. And that's what I like about it. It just feels real. That's why I'm starting to care about these characters so much.
Yeah. Yeah. The people just feel like they're not faking it. I mean,
no.
To be fair, to be honest, parts of it probably are a little fake. Like parts of it may be orchestrated in some way.
Oh, really?
It has to, like, come on, reality TV. Like, it can't be. Like, it's hard for me to imagine all of this stuff did happen without any kind of nudging from the producers. You know what I mean?
I mean, yeah. Well, they do like a lot of editing, right? There's a lot of time skipping going on too. You have to keep that in mind.
Well, yeah, it's not a real time, like 24/7 kind of thing. I can't get over how freaking polite everyone is, and I just wonder how long this is gonna last. But it's just so much different than I'm used to. Like, in America, people would be getting crazy stupid and running around the house like as soon as they get there, where this show, everyone comes in very quietly, walks up the stairs, they all put their bag in the same corner of the room, they all sit down very quietly, fold their hands in their lap and smile and make small talk, not too loud though, until the next person comes in, and then all 6 people are there, and one of the first things they say to each other is, I'm excited to live with you. It's just like, what planet am I on?
Yeah. That first episode is like so awkward
a little,
because because they're just like, they're all kind of meeting each other. They're like, so like, what do you do? I guess,
But that's Terrace House, Boys and Girls in the City on Netflix. It's there now. You can check it out, and I am excited to see what happens.
Yeah,
I can't wait to talk to you guys more about it.
Same. Disclaimer though, it is like full Japanese, so like subtitle, like you'll have to read subtitles if you want to watch it. So if that's not your bag, do it anyway. It's really good.
I hope a fan-made dubbed version comes out, because I'd like to do one of the voices.
Oh my god! Just have all 3 of us do the 3 guys in the house.
Oh god,
that'd be funny,
dude. Wait, real quick. Who would you be if you had to voice one of them? Who would you be?
I would have to be the baseball player,
Bokoto.
Yeah, and I think Robert is the hairdresser.
Oh really?
For sure.
You think Robert's Uchi?
Yes, and I think you're the tap dancer.
Dude, that's funny because Yuki is my favorite character.
There you go. Okay.
Huh.
I think those all fit. I don't know.
I mean, I know better characters that come in later in the show. I won't comment, but
okay.
Let's move on to some American media here. So in the past week, 2 pretty big trailers kind of dropped that we wanted to talk about. Jack, you want to hit us off with that?
Yeah, that just came out today, a matter of hours ago. I guess the Punisher TV series is coming to Netflix to join the family. Fresh off the news of Marvel fresh off the news of Disney and Netflix being divorced. They're still not slowing down any of these shows they have in production. So we saw it. We all kind of saw it. I watched it once. What are you guys'? Yeah. Only once. Yes. I think how much money. Okay, go watch the Punisher trailer on Netflix. Come back to this podcast, and here you are. Okay, so what did you think of the music? I mean, I don't see a lot of Metallica licensing their songs to anything. They're very notoriously like stringent on that kind of stuff. They clamp down. I remember Lars Ulrich back in the 90s, one of his biggest fears was that Enter Sandman would be on some like Nike commercial or something like that.
Yeah.
And now they're licensing out to the Punisher. It was the best part of the whole trailer for me, was the syncing up with the song. But I don't know. I don't want to give my opinion totally right now, but I'm curious, Colin, what did you think?
So I'm right there with you. Like, the highlight for me, because I'm a massive Metallica fan, was hearing One in there, right? I really like the rendition of it that they had it in there, and you're right. You never hear Metallica really all that much, and for licensed stuff anyway. I think the last time I heard Metallica in like a movie or a TV show or anything was the beginning of Zombieland, because they had For Whom the Bell Tolls.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Yeah,
and then you have to think too. Virginia Tech, their football team, they come out to Enter Sandman. I wonder if the university had to pay for that.
Oh yeah, that's a thing too.
Yeah, I wonder. But it's very rare still.
Well, your favorite fighter, Brock Lesnar, used to come out to Enter Sandman as well. I don't know how it works for fighters.
No, did he?
Yeah, he did.
I hate him even more now. When you say favorite, you mean my
I mean,
nemesis.
I meant sarcasm. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. I remember when I first watched the trailer, I was watching it like during our pre-show where we were just kind of like figuring out this podcast, and like Colin and Jack were talking about something, and I'm just watching a trailer, and I just say, "Is this motherfucker playing one on an acoustic guitar right now?"
And then
With
they
this
sync
kid,
up.
he's
They
like,
sync
"I'm
up the
gonna
bass
teach you.
drums.
I'm gonna teach you this song right now. It's a really happy song, kiddo." I'm like, just playing one. Darkness imprisoning me.
Okay, we can't sing too much, or we're gonna get a copyright
Yeah,
strike.
freaking Lars, we're sorry. Please, don't hit us.
Please no. Yeah, but
Hey, to be
synced
fair,
up
he's way more lenient on that now.
Yeah,
They synced up the gunshots with the double bass
I
part.
could not
That was
stop
badass.
laughing at it though. I'm gonna be honest, I found it hilarious.
Well, you're not in the Marvel universe, and I'm not really into it to this extent either. I've never watched a Punisher film or anything that I actually liked. And there have been multiple Punisher movies, live action movies out in Hollywood. I don't know if you guys remember, but they did it in the 90s. They did it in the aughts. And it's never really resonated with me. So it's not a character that I can relate to pretty well. But I mean, he's a guy whose family gets murdered. Tell me if you've heard this before. And he goes to take revenge, and he's a big vigilante, and he wears black. And yeah, so I don't know. There's a lot of quality Marvel shows on Netflix. Supposedly, I wouldn't know because I don't watch any of them really. But I'm not gonna watch this one, especially not based off that trailer. I'm not. It doesn't do it for me.
Yeah, I saw the original Punisher movie that they put out years ago, and I don't remember hating it. But I also remember that it was insanely unrealistic. Like, dude takes like 15 bullets and still isn't dead, ends up living, and like just goes the rest of the movie like, fine, I'm just gonna take my revenge out on all of you.
So he's like a Nick Cage at the end of Con Air.
Pretty much.
Get shot in the arm.
Without the epic, guitar solo-esque background music. But I will say one thing. The only thing that would kind of get me to watch this show or even consider it is their casting choice, because I do like that. I don't know the actor's name, but I do like who they casted as quote unquote the Punisher. Because he played Shane on The Walking Dead, and I really liked his character. It was very well acted. But otherwise, I don't know. Like, it seemed kind of pretty mediocre. I mean, I guess it seems like one of those things like you put it on the background and just kind of space out. But otherwise,
Well, The Punisher is going to be coming out sometime before the end of this year on Netflix, so we'll have to wait and see when that's announced. But another trailer dropped for Tomb Raider, the movie, and we all kind of watched it before the show too. What did you guys think of that?
I'll go first here. So again, this isn't the first time they tried to bring this property, Tomb Raider, to the silver screen.
Yeah, wasn't the last Angelina Jolie?
Yeah, and
the Cradle of Life.
Yeah, but there was also an Angelina Jolie movie just called Tomb Raider before that as well. So all I remember about the Cradle of Life is that stupid Korn song that they had like a music video and they're like tying it in. I'm just like, oh, this isn't any good. But I don't know how I feel. I don't think I feel good about this new movie. And they're really trying to bring that kind of adventure Indiana Jones vibe to Lara Croft. Sorry, people get triggered if you say Lara Croft. Did you guys know that?
Yeah.
British people specifically, you need to say Lara Croft. So anyways, they have cast Alicia Vikander. You might remember her from that movie where she played a cyborg killer.
Ex Machina, right?
Yeah, Ex Machina, yeah. And I actually did see that movie, and that's a good movie. But she won some awards, I think, or that movie won some awards for like best visual effects, like an Oscar or something like that. Anyways, she's Lara Croft now, and I think it's ruining it for me, kind of. I think I'm not into it because I think she might be miscast, and I don't have a great feeling about this movie. But the music is by Junkie XL, though, which is cool. It's directed by a man named Roar Uthog. So Vikings are literally making this movie.
What? Oh, I thought that sounded like, I was like, is that the name of an orc?
No, we literally have Dovahkiin at the helm here. So yeah, I don't know. What you guys want to chime in with your thoughts here quickly?
So I almost feel like I can agree with you. I haven't seen the previous movies that she's been in, but I feel like I can agree that she's been miscast. I just didn't feel like she was Laura Croft or Laura, whatever.
Yeah.
I do think that they are going really hard. They're pushing the atmosphere of the movie to really follow that of the rebooted series that's came out in the past few years.
Yeah, the new games are hot, by the way. Those new Tomb Raider
they're
joints,
great. Yeah,
they're both good. The games,
like they all the way down to the freaking gray tank top she was wearing. Like it seemed like they were pushing for it really hard.
Yeah.
But I just not really feeling it yet. I was waiting for Nicolas Cage to come out, and it was going to be like another national
If only we were
treasure.
that lucky to be blessed with Cage.
Of course.
The movie does come out March 16th next year, and hey, prove me wrong. Hopefully I'm wrong. I love being wrong about these kind of things. I want all movies and games to be good. So what do you think, Robert?
I don't know. I mean, it's very obvious this is like a tie into the video games. Like Square Enix, their name, their logo is in the trailer even. So there's like absolutely no question. You see the iconic ice pick all in like the marketing and in the trailer. So it's very clear to me that this is like the brand new like rebooted Lara Croft. God.
Lara, guys.
Lara Croft.
Lara Croft.
Yeah, Lara Croft. I don't know. Like when I just looked at the trailer, like I played the first Lara Croft game. I didn't bother picking up the second one just because like I've got so many other games on my plate that I want to play.
Bro.
And I know it's good. No, I because like I love the first one. But
can I just say it looks so good on PC? Oh, it's so good. It unleashes the power.
Unleash the power of your GTX 1080.
Oh man.
But yeah, I don't know. When I just saw the trailer, I felt like this is pretty generic. Like if you had named it, you know, you could slap any name at the end of that trailer, and I'd be like, oh, cool, an action movie. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Teenage girl adventure time.
The movie.
That's what I call it. Yeah.
It looked like it was a very empty feeling Indiana Jones or something.
We'll see how Roar does.
I don't know. I mean, again, like Jack, I want everything to succeed, but who knows?
I'll tell you someone else that took an L this past weekend, and that was the judge for the Canelo Alvarez Triple G fight. Have you guys heard about the outcome? Have you seen anything? Her name's Adelaide Bird. She's one of the 3 judges for a fight and really, really messed up.
I heard a lot of people are very, very, very mad with the outcome of this boxing match.
So this is, real quick, this is like the biggest fight of the year, and we don't have to talk about this too long, but I was so hyped for it. Canelo Alvarez, he's that redheaded Mexican guy with freckles, and that looks like an Irish dude. And then he was versus my favorite boxer on the planet right now, Gennady Gudayevich Golovkin, Triple G from
Say that 3 times
from
fast.
Kazakhstan. And he has a really funny accent too. He's like, I make big drama show. I here for the people, come watch my fight. Thank you, America. Make good fight. And so, no, he's awesome, dude. But and he's a bruiser, and he throws around a couple bazookas there for fists. So anyways, it was in all aspects definitely a fight that is going to be remembered as a modern classic, lived up to the hype. If you just want to see 2 huge knockout artists punch each other in the face, neck, and body for 12 straight rounds, it went the complete distance. No one went down. They both proved that they had complete iron chins. I was so excited. Multiple rounds of just awesome boxing action. No one was disappointed. Everyone thought it was a great fight. But also the consensus was that Triple G had pulled it out in a close one by a couple rounds. And pretty much all the experts agreed that this should be Triple G's fight. And you know what? It went to decision, and it really sucked. So one judge got Gennady Gudayevich Golovkin, Triple G. He had him as the winner. The other judge had Canelo Alvarez as the winner, which no one understood. Everyone's like, what? And then get this, guys. The third judge had it as a draw. So by boxing rules, it was just a draw. Wow. So no one won, which this is now the first blemish on Triple G's record, because he was undefeated. I can't remember the exact record. It was something like 38-0 with like 33 knockouts, something stupid like that.
Holy shit.
Yeah, dude. And he destroys people. He wrecks people, man. He throws them into another dimension when he knocks people out. But so this is the first quote unquote blemish now on his record, right? Because he has this draw now. So now he's going to be like 38-0. or 38-0-1 now, forever, because of this one judge named Adelaide Bird, who, as I understand, is a nice lady, but she got the fight completely wrong by every single person's estimation, because she gave Canelo Alvarez, the person who actually lost the fight, she gave him the fight by 8 full rounds. She said that he won the fight 8 rounds to 4. And no one saw the fight that she saw. So even Oscar De La Hoya, who's the head promoter, runs Golden Boy Promotions in boxing and was running this fight. Canelo Alvarez is even his fighter. He benefited from this judgment. Even Oscar De La Hoya is calling for her suspension.
Wow.
That's how objectively incorrect this was. So I feel bad. Like I said, as I understand, she's a very nice lady. I never met the woman, but she has all of the boxing world right now up in a tizzy. So this is good for boxing because we get a rematch now. It might not be good for either of these boxers' mental health, though, or physical health, because, man, they were taking shots. And the thing I really took away from this fight was that both those guys displayed that they have an iron chin, man. They were taking their best shots straight to the face and just kept going forward. Canelo kept counterpunching, and it was a modern classic. I can't wait to watch it again, the replay on HBO this Saturday. I'm going to watch this fight a couple times because it was one of the best boxing matches I've ever seen. Too bad it had to go to the judges. Too bad Triple G couldn't finish him, but I do look forward to the rematch eventually.
Question for you, Jack, real quick. So you said, remind me what you said again. You said Triple G won, what was it, 8 of the matches?
No. He was, okay. A lot of experts said that he probably won by a couple rounds. He got off to a slow start. He dominated the middle rounds pretty soundly, and then Canelo had a little bit of a spurt at the end. The final 3 rounds, every judge on the card had Canelo winning the final 3 rounds. But everyone's judgment, also most people's judgment that watched the fight, was that Gennady did enough and dominated enough in the middle of the fight to despite getting off to a slow start and losing the last rounds, still win the fight if it went to the distance.
Gotcha. So I remember reading that this Adelaide Bird, right? She scored, it was like 118, 110 or something like that.
Yeah.
And so the difference, there was an 8-point difference there. I don't necessarily know how boxing scoring works.
I can tell you real quick. So it runs on something called a 10-point must system. So what it means is if you win so there's basically a winner and a loser for every round. If you win the round, you get 10 points. If you lose the round, you get 9 points. So the winner must score 10 points. The loser has to be less. Now, there is something called a 10-8 round, where that's if the dude is getting his ass whooped left and right, and he's about to go down, but never officially gets knocked down. Then the judges can score that a 10-8 round. Like, you just got dominated that much. Also, if you get knocked down, that's usually a point off the score too. So yeah, there's also ways that judges can punish you for poor behavior. If you're elbowing somebody or if you're hitting low and they warn you too many times, they can deduct a point from you as well. So the judge, that's up to them. The referee is up to them to deduct points. So, but basically every one of those rounds, someone has to get 10 points essentially. Does that make sense?
Gotcha.
Yeah. So when it's 18-10, that means that she said that he won 8 more rounds.
Yeah, that's a huge margin.
And no one saw that fight.
Margin.
So, I mean, they actually are sitting her down. They're like putting her in detention. They're sitting her down and making her rewatch the fight and rescore the fight, like with her boss in a room to see what she saw. I've read that in a story. They're making her do that. So she's definitely under scrutiny right now. But she has a history. She has a history of having controversial decisions. And she has a history of certain boxing promotion companies requesting that she's not on a fight.
So, how old is this woman?
Older,
I don't really know about her.
And her credentials are, I mean, she has judged hundreds of fights now, in her career. She's older. She's definitely retirement age. But the way she got into the industry was that her husband is a referee. Yeah, it's pretty interesting. Yeah, so we'll see. But her name definitely got out there. And I don't want to make this all about her because I really want to celebrate the fight. I just wish that it was judged fairly and no one really, thinks that it was.
Right.
Yeah, fair enough.
Well, let's move on to the game section of our podcast. Let's talk about some of the video games that we have played. In the past week. Colin, you want to hit us off?
Okay, yeah. So last week was Nintendo's Direct on, was it Wednesday, right?
Yeah.
Wednesday. Yeah, Wednesday at 6. And so after the conference, they released the demo for this Square Enix JRPG called Project Octopath Traveler.
Yeah, we talked a little bit about it in last week's podcast.
Right. Yeah, we mentioned it a little bit. And so we all jumped up on our switches post conference and downloaded this little demo. Well, I don't know if little's the word for it. It's a pretty big demo, honestly. It's man, what would we say? It's like 45 minutes to the thank you screen, then you can keep playing, Robert.
I mean, I've got 2 hours in it.
I could easily get 2 hours into it. I'm about an hour and a half in it right now.
Right, yeah. So it's definitely like bigger than most demos I've probably ever played. And so this game, I will say, man, I remember last week on our episode, I wasn't completely knocking it, but I was knocking the battle system a little bit. I really liked the art style a lot, the HD 2D thing that they got going with all the sprite work and all that. It's really nice to look at, and all the ambient lighting and stuff they got, and the fog effects and all that fancy stuff. But the battle system is what really surprised me, right? Is that I thought it was going to be kind of boring turn-based based on the trailers I was watching, but once I got, a hold of it, and I noticed that you can power up your attacks, and you can basically stack a whole bunch of attacks together, and you have to strategize when to defend and when to attack and when you should actually like use your multiplier or boost mode. That's what it's called. Mm-hmm. And just the amount of strategy that goes into every battle, even if it's a bigger or a smaller enemy, it's great. And it had me hooked instantly. And I actually really appreciated that they weren't afraid to make the demo a little bit difficult. You know what I mean? Yeah, so they weren't afraid to throw some harder enemies at you, and the boss fight right before the thank you screen for each character was very satisfying when you got to beat the boss. Like, they weren't a pushover by any means, but they were fun to fight. What do you guys think?
Yeah, so I'd like to just go on record here and say, boy, was I wrong last week. Yeah, I think I was the one of the three of us that was very much like, "Woo, I'm not excited. What is this bullshit?" Because it's by the same guys who made Bravely Default, which I'm not a big fan of. But this game, they've done so many things right, and they've made the battle system infinitely better by just making a couple small tweaks. So yeah, like the graphics are amazing. I'm sure like everyone knows that by now. It looks very good. It's very pretty and very it feels nice to play. Like it's the whole seeing is believing kind of thing. Like seeing the trailers is one thing, but actually moving your character in that world, phenomenal. It looks so great. And the battle system. So what makes it better than Bravely Default is that in Bravely Default they did this thing where like if you defend, you gain a boost point, but then you can expend your boost points to like power up your attacks. But you can go like below 0 number of boost points. So like, let's say at turn 1 you have 1 boost point and you want to boost your power up to 4 times. That puts you down to -3. So for the next 3 turns, you can't do jack. In this game,
but Jack's right here.
Yeah, and you can do him.
Oh, what? I'm just sitting here, guys. Nobody asked for this.
Colin did. He put it out there.
I'm a married man.
Just subscribe to our $5 Patreon level, and you'll have your shot at Jack.
Please,
no.
So you're pimping me out now, Colin. Is that your attempt at making amends?
You're too
I'm
quiet
the one
over there,
married
Jack.
man
I had
on
to
this
get your
podcast.
attention.
I'm spoken for. I'm an honest man, damn it.
So yeah, in Bravely Default system, it was just like this idea of like high risk, high reward, but like the failures that can happen when you risk too much are just, they're not punishing, they're just boring to me. Whereas in this game, they take away that whole like you can't boost more than 0 or like low, like you can't go below 0 number of boost points. So you're never going to have a turn in this turn-based battle where you can't do anything, which is great. And they've thrown in this like Persona style, like figure out the enemy's weakness, hit their weakness, and then when you break their shield, they can't act for the next turn, which I mean, I don't know if I've told you guys about how much I like Persona. Boy,
you've mentioned it once or twice.
That system's right up my alley in terms of turn-based battles. So yeah, I'm pretty into what they've done with the battle system. I think it's way better. I think the story they've told is really cool. I played through Primrose's story, and it's darker than I thought they'd go. And
I haven't played that one yet.
I'm very happy with it. Jack, what are your impressions of this?
Okay, so obviously I will start with the visuals because that is one of the most significant elements of this game, and this is one of the rare games where all three of us have played it and can talk about a game on the podcast now, so this will be interesting. It's basically like if you take, heavily inspired by Final Fantasy VI. I'm not sure if you guys are aware, but it is basically take Final Fantasy VI on the SNES, pseudo 3D, put it in 16 by 9, and then slap about 9 or 13 Instagram filters on the image, and then add some cool lighting. You know? Right. I mean, it's like every Instagram filter, like every image, and the whole game is like vignetted too, right? Or vignette, however you say that, with like the blackened corners and stuff, and like the whole game's like that. So yes, it looks great. It's great. I am very much looking forward though to that survey that they also mentioned they're going to be having people fill out. I'm going to track that down because I have some like concerns about this game. And I don't know where to really begin. I agree for the most part with most you guys are saying, but one concern that is an easy tweak is they need to, in my opinion, fix the walking speed in that game. It's too slow. The run speed now should be the walk speed, and there should be a speed faster than that when you run, especially when you're going north and south. It's so slow. And also, you bring up Persona 5, and it reminded me of this as well. In Persona 5, when you go to the store and you upgrade your weapon, they make the experience so nice. They just automatically say, you want to buy this? Yes. Do you want to equip it now? Yes. Do you want to sell your old weapon? Yes. Okay, so you walk out the store, everything. I don't know if you guys upgraded your gear in this game. It is...
Yeah.
Oh, it's so clunky and so shitty, and it took forever to do that exact thing that Persona has gleefully been able to kind of expedite that process of upgrading your gear. In Octopath Traveler, you have to go through a menu, you have to buy it, then you have to go in, you have to take off your old thing, change it, then you have to go to another menu, sell it, then you have to go, and then that's the only way you can really get an updated report of like how it's going to boost or downgrade your stats too, is only after you change the armor.
I did find that really annoying.
Yeah, and it's just super annoying. So these are easy fixes though. These are easy fixes. One thing, though, that I don't think is going to be much of an easy fix is that I didn't personally find... So different enemies in this game have different weaknesses. But in this demo, for the sake of the demo, they only have two weaknesses. Either your spear or your sword. Like both are bladed things, right? Like it's just kind of a funny concept. Like, oh, the sword. Fuck a sword. Oh, spear shit. Yeah. But...
Fuck me, he's got a spear.
I didn't find that part very compelling. I thought it just added unneeded complexity to the battles, whether or not you have to hit him with a spear or with a sword. And then also some abilities are tied to certain weapons. So certain abilities would only work on someone that's weak to a spear and vice versa. So I didn't really appreciate that. I think they were trying to add an extra layer of complexity that I think would have been better served elsewhere. I'd have to think about it and ruminate on it more to come up with a better idea. But I just think that the combat system didn't need that. I did find it difficult in the beginning before I really figured out the boost mechanic. Once I got that, the game became incredibly easy for me, and I'm not even trying to brag, guys, but I never used defend once. What I would do is I would just heal myself, because they give you a lot of in the demo. They give you a lot of only in video games, by the way, can you roam a mountaintop, find a nice manicured, perfect, shiny little treasure chest there, open it up, and there's a grape. And then, it's okay. Oh, all right, video games. There's a grape in this treasure chest on top of this mountain. I think that's great.
Would you say it's grape?
It's grape. Yeah, it was just funny, But I think so. I thought that was funny, and also I kind of thought that the dialogue, which most of it is fully spoken. There are no cutscenes in this, though. It's all in-game engine. But certain parts are fully voiced, which is expensive, which is kind of funny sounding. I think the voice acting and the writing, in a way, almost came across as a parody of JRPGs rather than a sincere, earnest effort. It was just, that's where I heard Crivens. Like, come on, dude. Like that little kid, it was just hilarious. But I couldn't really take it seriously. And then for a lot of the dialogue, it was just that old tally ho, and then they say, like a whole paragraph in text that you have to read, or they say to the last. They have like one little thing they say, and then you read what they're actually saying. So
my blade is unbending.
To see whoa, to see that kind of like bumped up against each other, those different styles of storytelling in the same engine was a little disjointing to me. But again, this game is a ways off. The things that I want them to change, I think, could be easy changes for the most part, save for the spear mechanic and the sword mechanic.
Let's try the title first before anything.
Keep it Octopath Traveler. That's a good title. I like it. It's stupid, and I like it. And I want it to be. I want it to stay that. I will be disappointed if they change that. I will be.
Dude, no, I'm waiting for them to come out like come out and be like, oh, this is actually a Final Fantasy game. Boom.
Final Fantasy 16.
Yeah.
Octo Fantasy Traveler.
Yep.
The 8 gems of stones.
God, that sounds like a hentai or some shit.
Oh no.
Yeah, let's bring that into this.
Well, hold on. I got something like totally off the path here since we're talking about games here. We're talking about gems and shit. Did you guys see the collector's edition of Marvel?
Oh no.
Yes. So you guys know what I'm talking about. So let me
Easter
versus
came
Capcom.
late
Yeah.
this year.
Oh Lord, did it. So let me just explain real quick for the audience if you're not aware. Yesterday, what was the name of the game officially? Is it Marvel vs. Capcom
Marvel
Infinite?
versus Capcom Infinite.
Yep. Okay, so the game's got its problems already. But on top of the kind of middling reviews, lukewarm reviews, they released a $200 SKU for the collector's edition, and they also released some images of what you can expect. And one of the main coup de grace pieces of the package is your very own chest with infinity gems, all of them, all 6 of them, is it? And they light up and they look in the picture, okay? They look very crystalline, they look very shiny, they look very deep, very rich in color, and they have this like lighting effect that lets them glow in this chest. Now you can't pick them up or take them out either. Did you guys know that? They just sit there and they're glued in there. So that's what people were expecting. And they didn't exactly nail it with this one, I would say. What they actually got when they ponied up their $200 was basically what looks exactly like those fucking plastic Easter eggs in a chest. I mean, Google image this. It looked exactly like they just took half of the eggs, glued them in, and some fucking stupid shiny lights underneath. But it looks nothing like the picture, and I would be so pissed if I was one of those people that bought that.
Same.
Dude, it's like it was reminding me of well, someone posted a picture. I think it was Destin Legary from IGN.
Yeah.
He posted a picture. It's like, so like I'm gonna show you like a simile for what this Infinity Stone debacle is like. So it showed a picture of a dude cosplaying as Isaac Clarke from Dead Space, and then it showed him cosplaying as Isaac Clarke from Dead Space. The dude was like on the left had like a really professional fucking like crazy expensive cosplay suit. The dude on the right had like, he looks like he was wearing trash bags.
Oh no. Oh no.
But yeah, dude, speaking of Dead Space though, that's what it reminds me of. I don't know if you guys remember, but there was a Dead Space 2 collector's edition. They came out.
There's a collector's edition of everything, man.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. But this one in particular got a lot of bad press because it came with a replica plasma cutter. And this plasma cutter looked it looked like a fucking Happy Meal toy.
Oh my God.
Well, no, like people thought it was gonna be like a gun that you could hold, right? Like people thought it was gonna be like life-size scale, right?
Yeah.
Isn't that what people were expecting? And then it came out and it was like super tiny. That was the problem.
Yeah.
It was a keychain, basically.
Damn near, yeah. Yeah, it was bad.
These are examples of something that people are heavily anticipating being good, being bad. But what I want to talk about now is something that, myself included, a lot of people were expecting to be bad that is actually good. And that, my fine dudes, is Metroid Samus Returns on the 3DS. Are you privy?
Yo, so like, I don't really remember hearing anyone saying they were expecting it to be bad, though.
Oh, are you kidding me? A lot of
people.
Not
from what I saw.
Dude,
but.
well, I mean, listen.
Hold on. That doesn't matter, though, right? Like, at this point, it's what you guys think of the game. You've played it.
Oh,
very amicable of you, but this is why I thought it was going to be a steaming pile of horse shit, is because Mercury Steam developed it, okay? And Mercury Steam, if you remember, they were the developers of Castlevania Lords of Shadow, Mirror of Fate back in 2013 for the 3DS.
No,
that
I
was
didn't know that.
Terrible. That game was so bad, and it's an example of them. It's a Castlevania game, right? There's a term called Castlevania or Metroidvania because both these two games have their own style, and it's been repeated ad nauseum, adopted by the indie community, and every like 5th game that comes out now is a quote unquote Metroidvania game. But this is the series that started it all. Fair argument. Super Metroid on the Super Nintendo is absolutely in my top 3 games of all time. Like, I have a little space, so I have a sleeve on my left arm, tattoo sleeve, and I have a little space near my wrist, and I want to do maybe like the morph ball right there. Like, I've been thinking like I need it because I have the Mario Kart shell, and I have some other, and I have the
really?
and I have the. I've never showed you. Well, not good for a podcast, but yeah, I have the Super Mario Kart shell as a tattoo, and then I also have the bow and arrow from Zelda, like, as well. And so I'm like, I need to add some kind of Metroid thing to this sleeve here to complete the the
trifecta.
exactly. But
fucking nerd.
That's absolutely that's why I'm on this show. But that is how much I love this series. And when I heard that Mercury Steam was making this game, I was just said, oh no, this is going to really sully the name, drive the Metroid brand in the dirt, because if you remember Metroid Other M, they're not coming off of a good track record. And then what else? That Federation Force?
Force.
Yeah, no, we will never speak of that game. We will never speak of that game ever again. So I had low hopes, and boy, am I so happy to be wrong here. This game, I'm just going to say it right now, is the best 3DS game of the year. This is absolutely going to be in my top 10. This game is fantastic because it's everything I love about the Metroid series, but also has elements in gameplay that are new to the series that I didn't even know that I would enjoy and would like. And I am very, very surprised. I've been playing it for probably, 4 or 5 hours or so. I got the Various suit. I got the Wave Beam. And it is challenging, and there are boss encounters. That's one thing I will say. The boss encounters can become repetitive a little bit, but it varies as you go on to the game. The game is long, as I understand, as well. Definitely around the 10-hour mark or so for a handheld. That's pretty beefy. The graphics, it's a consequence of the platform that they're on. They look about as good as a 3DS game can look, but man, that screen, after looking at my iPhone for a while, the screen on 3DS looks like you're looking through a screen door, out to your porch.
Yeah.
Like, it's just real muddy.
Yeah, it's a good way to describe it.
The sound isn't good. There's really nothing good about the 3DS experience anymore. This is a game, though, that I am playing and enjoying in full 3D. I'm using the new 3DS, so it has really good tracking. And I am playing it in 3D. I'm enjoying it that way. But again, the graphics are what they are. But the gameplay is really the meat and potatoes behind this game. There are elements of the gameplay that feel like a rhythm game, because there are enemies that will just come for your ass like real quick. Like, as soon as they see you, they will just dive bomb you and hit you. And you have this new melee attack where you hit the X button, I think it is, and you just like swipe up your gun, and it's like a melee attack. But also, if you time it perfectly with when they try and attack you like that, boom, you instant auto lock and you fire and you kill them in like 1 or 2 shots. It's so much quicker and easier to kill people with that melee counter than it would be to just sit there and shoot them from afar with your beam or with a missile. And so it really incentivizes you to do it that way and time your shots, because you will take care of enemies much quicker, and they'll give up a lot more resources as well when you kill them that way as well. So the game is Metroid. It is, if you are a fan of Super Metroid or Metroid, is it First Mission, the Game Boy remake? I can't remember. Oh man, I'm not a good Metroid fan here. But anyways, the Metroid Fusion as well. If you're a fan of the 2D Metroid games, this is so good. I cannot recommend
Metroid
it enough.
Zero Mission.
Thank you. Yeah,
is that what you're thinking of?
Yeah, which is probably up till now is probably the best 2D Metroid game, save for Super Metroid. There's nothing that can be Super Metroid, but this game is right up there in quality, and this is going to be among my top 10 games of the year. I can already tell you, like, that's how much I love this. Wow. I cannot give this game a higher recommendation. If you have a 3DS. Wow. You have to buy it. If you're a Metroid fan and you don't have a 3DS, like, what are you doing? Like, you might be forced to buy that Metroid 3DS. Like, I'm telling you, this is like, I've waited so long. I've waited so long for a good 2D Metroid game. This is like all I wanted, and I didn't even know it was coming out until earlier this year, right? E3, right? It was when we learned about it.
Yeah. And I was actually, I think I had to tell you after the conference.
Seriously, because Nintendo didn't even pimp it. Like, it was way under the radar. So I am so happy with this game. Mercury Steam, like, hey, my apologies. Your last game was a piece of shit, but Metroid Samus Returns, is solid.
Throwing shade. No, it's like from a noob standpoint, like, I actually do not have near as much experience with the Metroid series than I would like to have, because I just aside from playing a little bit of the first Prime game, I've never played Super Metroid, never played like really the original either.
Wow.
And I'd really like to. But buying this game now, coming in from like just never having experienced a true Metroid game like this before, I am like in love with it. It's pure, almost basically masterclass type gameplay, right? And I mean everything from the counter system to the way you jump to all the different abilities that you get. I do very much enjoy it. I do wish that it was on the Switch instead of the 3DS, though. Same. I will say that.
Same.
Yeah, and I think I think some of the systems on the way they map things and the way they do things on the 3DS could benefit from being on something like the Switch instead of the 3DS, because like one of the problems that I have, right, is like and this is with a lot of 3DS games, is that you get in those positions where you have to use the touchscreen because it has some sort of menu on it or something, right, that you can only access via the touchscreen.
Oh, that's
you know what I mean? You can't. Yeah. So you're sitting there, you know, you're putting your hands in an awkward position where you're trying to play the game, but you also have probably your stylus hanging out of your right hand just so you can hit the touchscreen. I'm not about to hit the touchscreen with my fingers. I'm just not that type of person because I don't like to dirty up my touchscreens.
Okay.
Yeah. But I sit there with the stylus, you know, in my hand while I'm like wrapping my hand around the face button so I can, you know, hit the buttons that I need to. And then so like for example in Metroid Samus Returns, when you had to like switch between I think it's like your regular bolts to your like the ice ones and things like that. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you have to like sit there and hit the touchscreen to do that, and it just gets really annoying to me.
Though, it is designed, the UI is designed to just use your right thumb. They make those buttons real big and right on the right side, just you know, just lick the Cheeto dust off your thumb and go for it, man. Go for broke.
Dude, I'm sorry, but I can't do it. That's why I don't get anything touchscreen, man. I really don't like. I bought a laptop.
You have to admit it's designed to be hit with your thumb.
Oh, well, yeah, it's definitely big, so you can access it quickly.
Yeah.
But other than that, like, the game feels really nice to play, and I've heard it, like, and let me know what you think of this, Jack, but when I was listening to a podcast, it was probably the Game Over, or not the Game Over Radio show, but the Gamescast or whatever, I think one of them mentioned that they were kind of about the counter system because it slowed down the gameplay.
Well, if you're bad, and I don't mean to be that guy.
Oh shit!
I don't mean to be that guy, but listen, it totally. Here's what I mean, and because I'm
not agreeing either. Like I like the counter system.
Because
I think
I'm
it adds
bad
a nice dynamic,
sometimes at this game, and I die very quickly when I don't hit those counters. But it's so much infinitely faster if you go in thinking counter first. Okay, in a room full of enemies, go in thinking counter first, not shoot and kill first. And it's so much quicker to kill enemies that way, and it looks so much cooler, and it feels so good. And they do they do a visual kind of cue, a tell, and then there's also like an audio kind of click noise, so you know when to counter. So if you're going in there thinking counter first, it'll just be a much smoother, better experience for you overall. But again, if you're going in there thinking old school Metroid style, like, oh, I don't want to counter, I don't want to do the stupid thing, I want to do what I normally do, then it is going to get frustrating, I think.
Jack, how can you hate Dark Souls, but like this?
This is totally different. Come on, Colin. You played both games. This is totally different.
You
than Dark
literally
Souls.
just said, get good. You essentially just said, get good.
Dark Souls.
Yeah,
well,
I'm revoking your gaming license.
Bro, I've put, the same amount of hours in Dark Souls that I have in Metroid, and I've actually made a thing called progress in Metroid, whereas I'm still at the beginning of Dark Souls. So that's why I'm staying on this. The carrot is right in front. I can see where the carrot is, and I'm chasing it still. Whereas the carrot, they take it and they fucking throw it in the toilet in Dark Souls.
Fair enough.
So Metroid, man, I also want to just say my final thought on this game is that the music is awesome. And now, again, it is cartridge based. It is on a 3DS, but it is remixed and evocative of the original score in Super Metroid. And each area has its own score. And man, I just think it adds so much to the atmosphere. Let me see, who's the composer? Okay, Daisuke Suoka. Sorry, I am messing that up.
Probably.
Daisuke Matsuoka. Anyways, awesome job. I'm actually like, the music's so good. I want to see what else he's composed. Like, it's solid. It definitely lives up to the score from Koji Kondo in previous games. I am so high on this game right now, guys. I cannot recommend it enough.
Yeah, it's great, man. I'm gonna continue. I haven't gotten too far yet, but like, it's definitely, I'm gonna make an effort to beat it, because I don't do that with too many games.
Yeah,
so.
I want to see this game through. Again, one knock I would say is the repetitive boss battles in the beginning, but we'll see what happens later in the game. It's definitely doing a really good job at keeping me hooked and keeping me wanting to push on.
That's good to hear. So I don't have that Metroid crack cocaine that you guys are on, but I have my own off-brand crack cocaine that I've been playing like all freaking weekend.
Yeah.
Oh man, Divinity Original Sin 2. You guys heard of that game?
I heard of the first game. We played it together.
for like an hour.
Can I ask you guys a question just real quick? Have either of you guys seen the animated film by DreamWorks titled The Road to El Dorado?
Yes.
I know of the game or movie.
Okay, because every time you say Divinity, I always think of the scene where the dude's, what was his name? Like Kotal Khan or whatever the hell his name was. He's like, "Your divinity." And like, I don't know.
That's funny.
I don't know if you know what I'm talking about, but every time you say Divinity, that's the scene I think
Divinity.
of. Oh my God, that movie is so good.
That sounds funny.
The great and powerful gods.
So Divinity. You play as a god, basically.
Really?
Kind of. Yeah, you're god woken. You know, you're a special boy or girl.
Stay woke.
Man, I don't even know where to start with this game. It's so freaking good. So I'm a huge fan of the first game. I have over like 170 hours in it because I've played it so many times. And this game, you know, like I've already put like more hours than I should since it's been out. So it came out like last Friday, September 14, but it's been in early access for like at least a year and a half, I think. So, you know, you could have bought it beforehand and like played around with it. I think they made a big, like Larian Studios, the devs, they made a big point about getting like the first act of it out on early access first. So you kind of have like a meaty section to play before they fully release it. And let me tell you, I'm not even done with Act 1 and I am like 20 hours in.
Damn. How many acts are there?
There are 3, and like I think the devs said that Act 1's about 25%, Act 2 is about 50%, and Act 3 is the last 25%.
So it's like the Mexico part of Red Dead Redemption.
Yeah, it's a long game, and
wow.
Yeah, for those of you who don't know what it is, it's a turn-based like computer RPG.
Computer RPG.
CRPG. Yeah, it's a CRPG.
Oh man.
So it's like you have
play the role of a computer.
Yeah, you play as a computer, and you're trying to become a god. No.
Wow.
So, wait, speaking of gods, guys, I just realized earlier I said Kotal Khan. That's the Aztec god character from fucking Mortal Kombat X.
I just let it go. I was like, whatever.
You were like, let it go. Let it happen.
I was like, wait a minute.
Okay, back on track.
So, anyways, please continue.
So yeah, you have like a party of 4 characters, and like, so you can like, there are different classes that you can choose, or like 10 schools of magic or whatever, essentially. So you can like mix and match it however you please and create like a really dope character. And it's like the perfect playground, I think, is the best way to describe the game in every battle, because when you are in a fight, it's not as much like I've never thought, oh, I need to win this fight, like I have to win. It's more, I wonder how this spell interacts with that spell, or I wonder what happens if I shoot a fireball at that thing. You know, it's like, it's all about experimentation and like having fun with it. Like, for example, I have an undead character on my party, so he can only be healed through poison. So what I did is I put him in a pool of poison, made him just stand there to keep healing, and then I summoned totems of poison to keep shooting at him to heal him even more.
Oh, cool.
And I didn't think that could happen until I actually tried it.
And it worked.
And yeah, and it worked, and he never died, and he was like the ultimate archer. And, you know, that's something that you could only get by just playing around with the system that's so flexible, so malleable, that literally anything could happen in that game. It is really wonderful.
That sounds like a good time, because experimenting in those kind of games is most of the fun. And if they give you the tools there, just say, go make your own adventure, have your own fun, I can see the appeal in that. I do have, however, questions and concerns. Now, I have already looked at the reviews. They're very positive. People are up on this game. Concerns I have, okay? And again, this is coming from someone that has only spent 1-2 hours tops in the original game, okay? So I could be completely ignorant to this, but one reason why I would not buy this game, all right, aside from not like falling in total love with the first game, which I like and appreciate for what it is, but it's one of those like Mount Everest kind of things where I'm like, I don't even want to start because I don't want to go too deep. But I'm concerned that the game looks exactly like the first game. Like, I'm concerned there are barely any graphical updates. It looks very similar. I don't know what is added, what's different. Why would I play this other than I just want more of the original game? Like, could this have been just a giant DLC?
So I actually sat around and thought a lot about it, because I've actually written a review of this that'll hopefully go up on a website soon. Okay. So shameless plug there, gameluster.com. Check it. so I thought a lot about like what makes it better than the first, or what makes it at least different from the first. And so they streamline a lot of like the spells. So the spells are like easier to use and easier to like figure out. Like for a small example, before, like, let's say you have a unit who's low on HP and is like crippled, right? Or like, let's say they're on fire. So they're taking damage over time and they need a heal. In the first game, you would need to throw a heal spell on them and then another spell to like douse the flames. Or now in this game, it's just the heal spell deals with a lot of status effects. So it's like, it's more streamlined. The gameplay feels a lot faster. Like for a turn-based game, they like tighten up what you can do in each turn. So it doesn't feel like I can do 20 actions in one turn. It's like each turn is like you're dedicating it to one small action each turn. So it feels more dynamic because that means the enemies are also getting more turns as well. Writing is still spectacular, I guess. It's just it's a more streamlined experience. The UI is a lot better, and I think the biggest improvement overall, aside from like the combat being easier or like easier to understand, is the story actually is decent so far in this one. Like,
and
I'm
it's
more
not in the first one.
I mean, the story was all right in the first one, but you kind of had to like really pay attention to it. In this game, it's really easy to be very interested in the world because it's all very silly. There's a lot of like whimsical stuff that's happening, and they've done a thing where like in the first game, you just create a character and you're done, right? Like it's your own like Johnny Good Boy or whatever.
Johnny Be Good.
Johnny Good Boy, yeah. In this game, like you can create your own character, and there are 4 races instead of like just being human. So like there's a lot of added stuff there, but they've created 6 like unique characters with their own stories that you get to play through. Like you play through the same main like big objective, you know, like go beat Ganon or whatever.
Right.
But there's also like a side story. So a really good example of this is I'm playing the character Losa, who is like famous for being like a musician in this world. So when you talk to people, you know, like you're very much like, oh, of course you know me. I'm Losa, the famous singer, right? Like that's just always a dialogue option. But she has like a demon living inside her that wants to like claw its way out and take over her body or something. So
she's a I can't think of the word. The fucking people from Naruto that have demons trapped inside of them.
Yes, the cubies, I think.
Yeah, jubies. That sounds right.
Jujubies?
She's a jujube, yeah.
Okay.
But there's like this one dialogue option I had with this elf who could like see the demon inside her. And the dialogue option slowly became more like insane until at the very end of the conversation, I had 5 dialogue options, but they all say, kill the elf.
This sounds like the lyrics to a Led Zeppelin song.
Kind of, a little bit, yeah.
Okay. Fair enough. Or Iron Maiden, I guess. Either would work.
Right. I mean, so in terms of like answering the question, is it worth like getting it over the first one? I think if you haven't played the first one, just buy that one.
Yeah.
It's way cheaper right now.
Yeah.
And
that's kind of how I'm feeling right now. Like it seems like it's more iterative than revolutionary.
Yes.
You know, but again, if you played the crap out of the first one, this is more of that, a little bit better. It could be argued that maybe these elements could have just been patched, you know. But I mean, all the reviews are positive. It's not even that much, isn't it? Isn't it only like 45?
It's $45, and I mean, it did sell 500,000 copies already.
Yes, that's another thing. It's selling through the roof. Is there a multiplayer like online component?
Yeah. So you get 4 people in your party, but you can control all 4 of them. Or you can like invite a friend, like Jack, let's say you own the game. I could invite you to my currently ongoing game and just say, hey, like you take control of this character or these 2 characters. Okay. And then we'll journey together and then.
But it's not like multiplayer where you have your own character all fighting together like a la Diablo 3.
You can. Like if you invite 4 people, like if you invite 3 of your friends, you each get 1 character to play as. Now, of course, it's not going to be as high octane as Diablo because it's turn-based, whereas Diablo is like real time.
No, but what I mean is, can 4 players play as their own characters in their game together?
If you start a new game and you make that like save file only for playing with your friends, yes.
Interesting why they wouldn't just have it like ad hoc multiplayer like that, you know?
I mean, part of it is they're not going to allow, like those pre-made characters I talk about, they're not going to let you have more than one of like the same pre-made character in each game, so that might be part of it, I guess.
It's a carefully crafted experience.
Yeah,
right?
kind of.
Like Splatoon. Okay, Divinity 2 and Splatoon 2. Same game. We got it.
Yeah, same game.
Perfect.
I will say the multiplayer is a little rough. It's because it's really easy to like, wander off on your own and do your own thing. And then you get into a fight and then all of your friends have to come over. They have to stop whatever they're doing and walk all the way over to you. So, it gets into a lot of interruptions like that. So it's a little hit or miss.
Okay.
But as a solo experience, it's very fun. I'm very into it. If you haven't played a Divinity game, I mean, if you want to save money, recommend getting the first one. Highly recommend it. It's a great game. If you want to try this new one out, it's a little more of a friendly experience in terms of like teaching you how to play the game, how to understand the mechanics and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm. Let me ask you, would you go back to part 1 and play with me, or are you forever changed?
I'd still play it.
Yeah. Okay. Solid.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah, I think that wraps it up for all of us in terms of games we've been playing. So let's throw it over to the news section of the podcast.
So, Robert, let's rapid fire through this because we haven't even mentioned we're doing an It spoiler cast at the end of this episode, and we want to have enough time to go through that. So let's rapid fire the news this week. What do you guys say?
Let's quick shoot this.
Yeah. Let's do it.
All right. So Battleborn's dead. That's it. Next story.
No, just a little slower.
Okay, so Battleborn, that game that, oh man, rip Gearbox, I swear. It's not getting any more updates. Or like if the update hasn't happened, the next update is going to be the last.
They basically are abandoning this game, sending it off to the farm to live for the rest of its life.
Yep. Servers will still be up for the time being for the foreseeable future. So if you're still one of those 2 people that's into Battleborn, don't worry about it. You'll still be able to play your favorite game for some reason. Other than that, I don't know. It's just, I guess Gearbox wants to really focus on that card game that they're making.
Oh.
Yeah.
So, I mean, here's their first mistake. They named the game after a fucking Five Finger Death Punch song.
Yeah, that was my first thought, man.
That celebrated catalog of Five Finger Death Punch songs.
Yeah, when someone told me, "Hey, have you played Battleborn?" I'm like, "No, I haven't." I haven't listened to that song in years.
Well, yeah. No, the game was never good. I tried to tell you. It sucks.
Yeah,
the art style sucks.
I don't know. It's all right. It's like Borderlands, but worse.
Hey, it could be worse. It could be Lawbreakers.
Snap! 12 concurrent players at one point over the weekend.
Are you serious?
Kidding. I'm not kidding. We're literally in the double digits. Wow. It's insane.
Guys, our podcast is bigger than Lawbreakers.
Oh, shit.
We have more concurrent listeners.
Let's see.
Oh, man.
So some modders have tweaked or tinkered with the Switch's architecture and found that, they found the game Golf, like the NES game Golf in it, but more importantly, that means they found an NES emulator in the Switch, built in to every single player. Like every single person who owns a Switch right now, you technically own an NES emulator.
I would not be surprised if someone dived real deep into this code and found out that it wasn't even a Nintendo developed emulator. Because I don't know if you remember on the Wii when they came out with Super Mario All-Stars, that anniversary edition or whatever, they data dumped that disc and found that it was really just emulations of those games running on a Wii that they pulled off the internet. So they literally burned ROMs onto a disc, probably took up 1/1000th of the data space on a disc, and sold it full price, $60 to people. So that was kind of a ripoff. But hey, it's kind of like Nintendo's always sticking it to the guys that put that up there, right? We're gonna make money off this. Yep. Fuck it.
Gotta love Uncle Nintendo.
Yeah. So there's an emulator in the Switch. I'm not surprised. I knew they were going to be bringing retro games to this. It's a cool thing. I wonder where it'll go. Obviously, Nintendo's planning on doing something with it.
I'm a little sad that either there isn't or the people haven't found an SNES emulator, or if we're lucky, maybe a Nintendo 64 emulator. That'd be cool.
Could be a thing.
Yeah, it'd be real neat. I know Nintendo's been talking about bringing a virtual console to the Switch, so maybe this is the first step, and maybe in future firmware patches, they'll throw on an SNES emulator and then a Nintendo emulator or N64 emulator and so on. So that'd be really cool to see. I think the Switch could be the ultimate console for that. Think about playing Ocarina of Time on the go. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Man, it's like you couldn't do that on the 3DS already.
Yeah, but the 3DS is a garbage system when it comes to playing games on it.
Oh, it's not bad.
It's not bad, but it's good only for 2D experience, I think.
Yeah, this is the first game I've actually turned on the 3D. I'm not going to fight you there.
Yeah, playing Kingdom Hearts on the 3DS was a fucking disaster. I'm not gonna lie.
Yep. That's why I didn't get into Monster Hunter and like Xenoblade Chronicles on the 3. Like I wanted
to get in that, but because I love the idea of that game on the go, but
it wasn't.
I just couldn't. No.
Yeah. So in other Nintendo news, you remember that Super Mario 64 online thing we mentioned like last week?
Oh, you mean that thing that's gonna be awesome and on the internet forever, right? We're just gonna play it now.
Well, it's already dead. It's over.
Aww.
Whatever.
Nintendo delivered that ripperoni pizza.
Yeah, hey, at least they delivered it on time within 7 days.
Woohoo! Cease and desist.
And lastly, this one's kind of big. It's kind of cool, actually. So Steam has released a new like review histogram system. So like, you know, there are Steam reviews out there and they generally just tell you like recently and overall, like if the game has been reviewed positively, negatively, mixed, whatever. Now you can see like a live chart, like a bar graph of like over time, like, you know, within the first week it got these kind of reviews, but then like a couple months later it started getting these kind of reviews, which people are saying that this is kind of in response to people bombing Firewatch reviews after the whole PewDiePie thing last week. But I think this is like just a cool feature overall, and it's like a lot of power to the consumer.
And I want to chime in as well and give credit where it's due as well. This news is coming by way of Polygon, so credit to you guys. This just kind of is breaking news coming in right as we're recording this, and they're really trying to make it easy to spot temporary distortions in reviews, as the article states. And because it's Steam reviews have kind of become over the past few years the real-time feedback and voice of the community. It's a way of expressing an opinion, right? Crowdsourcing an opinion, if you will, on Steam. And if something is going on in a game or by a developer or by a personality or by even like a communications director or something for a company, if people don't like it, they're going to go and bomb your reviews and have you show as a bad review on Steam so that new people are less likely to go and purchase it. But again, this is going to require a time investment by the consumer to investigate why the reviews are the way they are. So what they have taken baby steps towards this measure, right? They've done overall reviews, and then right above it, they'll do recent reviews. Yeah. Right. To try and like mitigate the potential damage that can be done as a result of this crowdsourcing of negative reviews. But now they're coming out with a full-fledged histogram, and they're implementing it soon, or is it already up?
I think it's soon, TM.
Yeah, and this is kind of all stemming off of that incident we talked about, isn't it? Or does it seem like that? Is this a coincidence?
It's probably coincidence, but I wouldn't be surprised if like the incident last week kind of lit a fire under Valve's ass.
The PewDiePie incident is what we're talking about.
Yeah.
Right. Well, yeah, because the dude from Campo Santo was calling for the DMCA on all of PewDiePie's videos involving it, and I'm sure it's it sounds like, I don't know what else it would be, you know, negative backlash, because Campo Santo and Firewatch hasn't been in the press otherwise. Yeah. You know, since then, or before that, for that matter. So yeah, it's probably, you know, just an internet came together and started flaming this Steam page. That's probably all there is to it.
And to give credit where it's due, PewDiePie did tweet out and say like he doesn't condone these review bombings. So
I thought you were gonna say he doesn't condone this histogram.
Oh no, I thought it'd be fair to represent him fairly, you know.
Okay, I mean, it is an interesting practice that again has only risen to prominence over the last half decade, I'd say. You know, it's kind of data being used as a weapon in a way, and now this is Steam kind of countering that weaponized data with their own version of the story. So it's very interesting. It's very murky, very muddy out there in the review waters for gaming, and you know, I think this is a precedent that is going to reverberate. You know, I mean, it's never going to go back, right? They're never going to take this away. Once it's there, it's kind of there.
Yeah, you never know. They took away Steam Greenlight.
And true. And I think that, you know, to build on that, what happened with the DMCA as well, like there is no current legal precedent for this type of process. Like, it's very much like video game developers kind of let people use their content, use their games, and you don't really have to get express permission by anybody, right? But if you do, the second you do something they don't like, they're gonna copyright strike you. And if you get 3 of those on YouTube, then your channel's just gone.
Yep.
Right, and it's a big deal. Is it 3? Is it like 3 in like a year? Is it 3 in a specific time frame? Is it 3 like ever?
It's 3 ever.
That's so hardcore. So one of those is like, make no mistake, that's a very big deal if you get a copyright strike on your account. It's a huge deal, especially for somebody like PewDiePie whose income depends so heavily on it. But it's an interesting story. We'll have to see where it goes. I don't know if I've ever gone that far as giving a game bad review based on something other than the merits of the game itself. Have you guys ever participated in anything like that?
Oh, no.
No.
Yeah.
It's so muddy. It's so ew.
Yeah, I mean, but I'm also one of those geeks that take video game reviews a little more serious than probably the rest of the world. So I don't want to, I want them to be accurate.
Well, yeah, and that's why I like this system so much. Because realistic application of it. It's not just good for like figuring out if some people are really mad with like what this developer did or something. But like, think about games that they're not just one and done releases, but they're constant. Like they're constantly alive. Like PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds. By the way, check that token off our list for this podcast episode. Ark Survival Evolved, or like an MMO like Final Fantasy 14. If they release a new patch or a new expansion that's like legitimately really bad, like it ruins the game in some way, that history of like reviews will show you like possibly one of the things isn't just like what the developer did, but like what they've done to the game. Does that make sense?
Right. Yeah. And I do think, though, that when a developer comes out with a new patch, I think that is very useful and very relevant information, like reviews that come out since that patch. I mean, that's a way of using, reviews as a feedback, right? Like that's a positive, constructive way. That's using the tool the way it was meant to. However, if someone just does something you don't like or says something you don't like, and then you get a big subreddit group to go on there and just give negative reviews just because something completely aside from the game or a patch, then that's where it just gets real weird.
Yeah, this whole thing, the cool thing about this game though is like histograms, right? I've never really heard of a platform going about showing reviews like that before, like using a histogram, just showing the review history. And I guess Steam would be one of the more practical platforms to like use something like that, but I could also see it kind of expanding into an idea that other platforms take on too. Like I could see Amazon doing something like that. Like if you could go to the the customer reviews at the bottom and then hit like a button that says view review history or whatever. And then that could be a big thing that becomes a trend. But it is a really, really cool thing to be like, oh well, this game it didn't always get flack, or this product didn't always get shit reviews, like what happened,
why. And it just kind of opens a can of worms and kind of begs the bigger question, like how relevant and important are video game reviews overall anymore, and what even is an official video game release. You already mentioned it, so I'll re-bring it up. PUBG is not even officially out yet. It's the biggest game on the planet, but on a technical perspective, it's still on an objective perspective, it's still in early access. It's not an official release yet, even though they're charging the same amount of money they're going to charge when the game does officially launch. Right. But it's like everything's all gray now. Everything's all fluid. The internet has changed everything. We are in the Matrix. This is where we live now, and video game reviews are always going to be changing, and they're always going to be updated. And it's an interesting development, and I am just from a pure academic perspective, I want to see if this does change any types of behavior.
Yes.
Can I be Keanu Reeves?
Sure.
You can be Carrie Fisher. No, wait, that's the wrong series.
And with that,
you can be Princess Leia.
I can be dead?
Oh, man, too soon.
Good. Thank you for that.
Okay.
Let's put a cap in it there, and let's move on to the Would You Rather section of the podcast, where I'm going to hand it off to Jack, who's got a wonderful Would You Rather question for us this week.
Take a deep breath, guys. In through the nose, out through the mouth. Okay, here we go. Would you rather have an immortal Zika-infested mosquito live with you in your home with a 99% chance of never being bitten? Or would you rather have a 100% chance of a random dog off the street biting you once a year for the rest of your days? Discuss.
Oh, what the
Wow.
Okay.
That was a Tiny Disc podcast. Thank you for listening.
You're going to have to chime in. And if there are any questions, let me know.
Oh man, can we get like some Jeopardy music to marinate on that?
Do you need me to read it?
No,
So-
I'm good. I'm good.
So the Zika So I know the Zika virus is bad, but
It's bad.
I'm guessing it's instant death type of deal.
No, it
no,
depends.
but-
If you're the young or the very elderly, it's real bad. If you're
Like, what does it
Colin,
entail? Like what's
I mean, I don't have the Wikipedia sheet in front of me, but I'm pretty sure it's like real nasty fever, real nasty flu-like symptoms, probably some diarrhea. Not good stuff. Things you don't want. People do die from it every year. But if you're a healthy adult, you could probably make it through.
For me,
So-
the question is,
But it
do
would
I
suck.
want Zika or rabies?
Well,
That's the question
It's
to
not
me.
guaranteed rabies. It's just, like I said, it's a random dog off the street. So it could be
Once a
rabies.
year.
Certainly,
Yeah.
certainly a possibility. You definitely want to stay up on your tetanus shots with that option.
Ugh, boy. Ah, jeez.
So the Zika mosquito, it just lives with you in whatever home you live in, and it's just there forever. It's immortal, so you can't kill it. And there's a 99% chance of never being bitten, but you'd see him every day.
so? Wait,
And it's in my house.
Yeah, it lives with you. Yeah.
yeah. So why can't I just capture it in a jar?
Yeah,
And
that's
it
what I was
never
gonna say.
fucking yeah. Just fucking, it'll never touch me.
Well, I mean, you're probably gonna move eventually, and you have to bring it will be with you forever. Okay.
Yeah, but I'll carry that jar. If that jar is stopping me from getting Zika, I'll fucking take it.
Okay. This is a world where no jars exist.
Oh my god! You didn't think this one through, did
No,
you?
not exactly. But I just want to know. Here's the thing: it lives with you. It's in your home. It's just a part of your family now. But again, this is a 99% chance of never being bitten. But he'll be there forever. He'll be looming. He could bite someone else that comes visit you. He could bite your pets. But
So this is a
99%
world-
chance of nothing ever happening.
This is a world without jars.
This is a world where you're worried about a damn Zika mosquito in your home.
Could I trap him in a Starbucks cup?
Okay, it's the world's smartest immortal mosquito.
I will pay
Zika
money.
mosquito.
I will pay money to get a box that has like Get Smart levels of security in it, and put the mosquito in that box.
Dude, it's the world's smartest mosquito. It will absolutely break through, and it'll socially engineer a way to escape out of any trap you put it in. What? He'll make your lunch.
Oh
He'll make
my
you lunch every
God.
day. You can take to work. No, I'm just kidding.
God.
But come on,
Jeez.
guys. It has to fly around free. It has to
Like-
have free range. That's the rule. It has to have free range in your home. 99% chance of never being bitten.
Could I get a Zika room? Instead of the guest room, it's the Zika room,
The
and he
door
stays in
has
that
to be
room.
open. The door has to be open. It has to have
Can I
free
put
reign.
could I put a screen in front of the door?
No, because then it doesn't have free. Well, it can get through the screen. It's the world's smartest mosquito. It has to have dominion over your home. Full dominion.
What if I decide to go homeless? Then I have no home for it to.
Then it just lives on your shoulder.
Oh God damn.
It's your pet now. Or you could just like cuff your nuts and take the dog option. I mean, that's still a thing.
It just like this fucking Zika mosquito just becomes your Jiminy Cricket.
Yeah.
Like the reason
But it's like, motherfucker, I can kill you like anytime. Just anytime. All I gotta do is boop, motherfucker, you're dead.
Zika knee cricket.
the reason why I don't want to do the dog thing is because then that will make me not a dog person, and I feel like that's outlawing yourself in this post-millennial world.
You could have a dog.
Yeah.
You could have it. This is a random dog. I mean, I don't get.
Yeah,
I don't get
but-
the logic. I don't get the logic.
Yeah, but
Here-
then I'm gonna be paranoid of every dog that I see on campus every fucking day.
True.
Yeah,
You are.
exactly. Every
Other
time
people's
your
dogs.
friend's like, "Hey, do you want to come meet my dog?" I'm like, even if I ask him, "Does he bite?" and they say, "Nah, of course not," I'll be like, "Fuck
Yeah.
you, it will bite me."
What if it's just a Maltese or like a fucking Chihuahua? I don't know. It could be any dog. It could be a shitty dog.
But then that dog has rabies, and then I'm dead.
But if it's someone's pet dog, they probably most likely do not have rabies. I'd want that dog to bite me rather than just a street mange.
So I mean, yeah, but we listen. So yeah, I mean, if I walk up to a dog and it's gonna fucking play bite me, and it's like, eh, I'm like, oh, okay.
Here's the thing, though. At least you don't live in a home of sheer terror and fear and anxiety with a fucking Zika mosquito, people.
Question. Can I wear a full suit of armor when the dog is biting me?
Nope, this has to be on bare skin contact.
God.
I thought you were going to say, can I wear a suit of armor at home, where I was going to allow that to protect yourself against the mosquito. I'd allow that.
That's not comfy. That's not comfy.
It definitely is not.
What if I taped a bunch of pillows to my body?
For
Could
the
you pass
dog or
that?
for the
No, for the dog.
It has to be mouth to skin contact. Yeah, saliva and all. And it doesn't have to be the nastiest bite. It could just be like, argh. You know, but once a year you're getting that argh.
I'm just, you know what? I can't fucking, you know, I'm just gonna go with the dog. Fuck it. I can't.
Which one?
I don't really know.
Which one?
The dog.
I'm taking the
roll
dog.
with the dog.
What
Yeah.
if it bit you on your birthday every year? That would suck.
Hey, at least then I know
God.
when it'll happen.
I know, but
Dude,
it's the fear, right,
yeah.
of not knowing. But it's also the fear. I think the mosquito is way more terrifying for me because I sleep there. I sleep in my home. You know what I mean? It's just, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's a level of control that I'm not prepared to surrender. Whereas I could turn myself into a shut-in and just never leave the house. I could easily do that.
What if for the dog thing, I actually turn into a shut-in, never leave the house for a year, never see another dog? Does a dog just break through my window to bite me at some point?
Yeah, it breaks into your fucking
You're
like
telling me
window, like Resident Evil 1 style.
Oh, God.
Is this dog Cujo?
Yeah, so
Yeah, if you never go out and get bit by a dog, one's gonna find you and it's gonna fucking maul like one of your limbs off.
So you're saying you really imagine a world where you would never leave the house?
Let's say hypothetically.
Would you open the door?
Maybe, yes.
Then the dog will bite you when you open the door.
Like, hi, mailman here. Here's my pet dog. Oh, no, what's the dog doing to you?
What's going to happen is the dog will end up chasing the mailman, and then it'll just go for you. In a deft act of desperation.
No, the mailman is the dog.
Meta.
Oh.
Meta.
The mailman does like some straight like fucking werewolf in London transformation shit and fucking bites
Just
your
a
ass.
fucking David Lynch movie? What the fuck, Colin?
I don't know. I guess I'll go with the dog thing, but man, both of those suck.
Yeah, they're fucking
You're
awful.
both going with the dogs.
Yeah, might
Okay,
as well.
I have to because I just can't. I hate a mosquito, let alone one that I know has Zika in my
And will never die.
Yeah, no,
I
never.
love Tostitos.
Okay, Robert, that's it. Bring us home, motherfuckers.
All right. So if you have a response to this Would You Rather, feel free to email it to us. Or if you have a Would You Rather question, shoot us an email at tinydiscpodcast@gmail.com. You can also follow us on all the social medias with, like, just look up Tiny Disc. We'll be there. Or you can go to our website, tinydisc.com, and most of our social media feeds are on there as well, so you can go through that and follow us there. If you enjoyed our podcast today, feel free to leave us a review on iTunes. We'd really appreciate it. It'd help us out a lot. And tell a friend if you liked it, because, you know, grassroots. Where can we find you two on the internet?
Colin and Mono on Twitter, aka at @booboo__55.
And also, I want to just drop a line and say thank you to all the international people that are listening to our podcast as well in Europe and other parts. And we love you. We love the American audience as well. And thank you guys very much. Just help us spread the love and tell your friends, like Robert said. You can find me on Twitter at JACCEPEDA.
Very nice. And yes, you can find me, Robert, on Twitter or all the social medias at Pinoptimist, PINOPTIMIST. If you are interested in the It spoiler cast that we totally did not forget to mention at the beginning of this episode, stick around for after the music. We'll have a whole spoiler cast going on. If you do not want to be spoiled on it, or if you aren't interested, this is the end of the show. Don't worry, you're not going to miss anything that you're not interested in.
But damn it, go watch that movie.
It's really great.
Damn it.
So thank you for listening to the Tiny Disc podcast. We'll see you next Thursday.
Oh, Crivens!